The rugby world was caught by surprise when news broke that Tony Brown would be leaving the Springboks setup after the 2027 Rugby World Cup. For many fans, it felt like the end of an important chapter. Brown has become one of the most influential figures behind South Africa's recent evolution on the attacking side of the game, helping transform an already world-class team into an even more dangerous force. But while the announcement shocked many supporters, some of the biggest names in South African rugby believe this move was always destined to happen. As the news spread across the rugby community, former Springbok stars Jean de Villiers, Schalk Burger, and Hanyani Shimange shared their thoughts on Brown's decision to return home and join New Zealand Rugby. Their reactions revealed not only respect for Brown's contribution but also confidence that the Springboks remain firmly on course for future success. For Tony Brown, the decision was never really about leaving South Africa. It was about fulfilling a dream that had always been part of his rugby journey. The former All Black fly half has openly spoken about his ambition to coach New Zealand one day. Now, with a 2-year agreement in place, he will join the All Blacks coaching setup from 2028. Yet what stands out most is the way he handled the situation. There were no dramatic negotiations, no last-minute twists, and no attempts to walk away from commitments. Brown made a promise and he intends to honor it. Until the very end of his contract, his focus remains entirely on helping the Springboks chase another World Cup title. When former Springbok captain Jean de Villiers reacted to the announcement, he did so with a mixture of humor and admiration. He jokingly revealed that he had spent time with Brown just one day before the official news became public. Despite knowing that something significant was happening behind the scenes, Brown kept his cards close to his chest. De Villiers laughed about being left completely in the dark, but underneath the joke was a deep appreciation for Brown's professionalism and character. The reaction from Schalk Burger was perhaps even more revealing. According to the former Springbok flanker, New Zealand Rugby was always going to bring someone like Brown back into their system. Coaches with his level of experience do not come around often. Brown has built an impressive coaching resume over the years, working across multiple rugby cultures and environments. From coaching the Highlanders in New Zealand to contributing in Japan, from his time connected to South African rugby through the Sharks and Stormers to learning directly under Rassie Erasmus, Brown has gathered knowledge from some of the best rugby minds in the world. Burger believes New Zealand sees Brown as a vital piece of its future. After all, he has spent years observing and contributing to one of the most successful rugby systems on the planet under Erasmus. The tactical lessons, innovative ideas, and leadership principles he has experienced with the Springboks are invaluable. From New Zealand's perspective, bringing Brown back home is not just a coaching appointment. It is an investment in the future of the All Blacks. Yet Burger also pointed out something that many fans may have overlooked. Brown is not leaving tomorrow. The Springboks still have him for more than a year. That means there is still a major opportunity ahead. Instead of focusing on his departure, the Springboks can focus on making the most of his remaining time within the setup. There is still another World Cup campaign to prepare for, more players to develop, and potentially another historic achievement waiting around the corner. For some supporters, the immediate concern is obvious. Will Brown's future move affect the trust and collaboration inside the Springbok coaching team? Could sensitive information eventually make its way to New Zealand? According to Jean de Villiers, those concerns are unnecessary. De Villiers believes transparency is actually the best possible outcome. Everyone now knows where Brown's future lies. There is no uncertainty, no speculation, and no hidden agenda. The coaching staff can continue operating exactly as they always have. Brown's reputation has been built on professionalism, and there is no reason to think that will suddenly change. His responsibility remains with South Africa until the day he leaves, and those who know him best trust him completely. Hanyani Shimange echoed those sentiments with a simple but powerful message. Rugby never stands still. Coaches come and go. Players retire. New stars emerge. Systems evolve. Through all of it, the game moves forward. The Springboks have built a culture that is larger than any single individual, and that culture will continue long after Brown eventually returns to New Zealand. Perhaps the most fascinating part of this story involves Rassie Erasmus himself. Few coaches in World Rugby are better at planning ahead than the Springbok mastermind. Erasmus has already indicated that potential replacements are being considered. He understands that succession planning is not something you leave until the last moment. The process starts years in advance. This is where Schalk Burger sees a major opportunity. Rather than waiting for Brown to leave, the Springboks could introduce a future coach into the environment before his departure. Imagine a scenario where Brown spends his final months passing on knowledge, sharing insights, and helping prepare the next attacking coach. The transition could become almost seamless. Instead of losing expertise overnight, South Africa could ensure that valuable lessons remain within the system. That possibility highlights one of the greatest strengths of the current Springbok setup. It is not built around short-term success. It is built around sustainability. Every decision appears to be made with the future in mind. While other teams react to change, the Springboks often seem to anticipate it long before it arrives. For supporters, there is also another reason to feel optimistic. Brown's departure does not erase the impact he has already made. Many of the attacking structures, tactical innovations, and developmental systems introduced during his time with the Springboks will remain. The players who have learned from him will continue applying those lessons on the field. The coaches who worked alongside him have absorbed his ideas. His influence is already woven into the fabric of the team. In many ways, this story is not really about someone leaving. It is about a coach completing an important chapter before beginning a new one. It is about mutual respect between two rugby nations. It is about honoring commitments. And it is about preparing for the future while remaining fully committed to the present. As the countdown to the 2027 Rugby World Cup continues, Brown's mission remains unchanged. He has one final objective with South Africa, helping the Springboks chase rugby immortality once again. If he succeeds, he will leave behind a remarkable legacy. If the Springboks lift another World Cup under the guidance of Rassie Erasmus, Brown's contribution will forever be remembered as part of one of rugby's greatest eras. And perhaps that is why there is no sense of panic among South Africa's rugby legends. Jean de Villiers, Schalk Burger, and Hanyani Shimange understand that great teams are defined not by individual departures, but by their ability to adapt and evolve. They know that Brown's future may belong to New Zealand, but his presence still belongs to the Springboks. For now, the focus remains exactly where it should be, on winning, on building, and on chasing history. The future can wait. The mission is far from over. And before Tony Brown returns home, he still has one more chance to help write another unforgettable chapter in Springbok rugby history.